What's going on, guys? It's Landon from Shoeware, and after some time off due to COVID-19, we are back to do another review for you guys today. And today we are going to be looking at the recently released Air Jordan 35 in the center of gravity colorway. Thanks for stopping by to tune in. Let's go ahead and get into it. It looks like the standard price for these Air Jordan 35s should be sitting around 180, like these ones are right here. I know that Air Jordan has a collab with Fragment on these 35s, where the retail price is a little bit higher at like 195, I believe. But expect most to stay at 180. But that pretty well covers the box and the price for these. So let's go ahead and move on to our assessment for the Air Jordan 35 center of gravity. All right, so first let's talk about the appearance. And let me just say that whenever I first saw the design for these Air Jordan 35s, I was so disappointed. And truthfully, I love the look of the Air Jordan 34s, and they were just even better to play in for me. And whenever I saw the first look at these Air Jordan 35s, really I just couldn't get myself to like them at all. But I will say, though, that after I've had some time to kind of gather my thoughts, and after doing that, seeing this specific colorway in hand, like I've gotten to, my hope has been temporarily restored. But I don't. It's not like I have some like big vendetta against this or hatred or anything towards the silhouette. I honestly think that these do have some potential for some super like dope player exclusive colorways on this model. But anyways, like I said, this one that we are looking at today is the center of gravity colorway for the Air Jordan 35. And to me, this color scheme is just really nice. Something that jumped out to me first was the upgraded Eclipse plate that they made, and they made it very noticeable and like easy to see through the bottom. So this is the Eclipse plate that I'm talking about here. If I get it in the right angle, you might be able to see me through it. But that portion of the shoe, they upgraded that. And also you have the gray suede on here that kind of makes up the bulk, or at least like half of the upper. And then the metallic blue and the salmon on there, I think it's like a pink or a salmon color. It kind of just really makes these pop. And admittedly, I'm not like a big fan of this like black stripe that goes down the toe of the shoe, but it does like serve a purpose. So I will get into that a little bit later. And that same black netting that's on the toe of this shoe, you can actually find it right here on the side of it as well, in between the gray suede and the metallic blue portion of that Eclipse plate. But that's actually the same finite material that can be found on the upper from the Air Jordan 34, so from last year's model. And a little bit of digging into this shoe model explains this chrome Jordan piece that you kind of see right here connected between the suede in the front. It kind of just separates the suede in the front from the suede in the back. And supposedly it's meant to like kind of tie in the button piece from the Air Jordan 13s. And that's kind of interesting to me, because I really wondered if it like served an actual purpose, because if it didn't serve one, like, then why would you put it on there? So I thought that was just kind of a cool fun fact to throw on here. But while we're on the subject of looking at similarities between models, the tongue on these Air Jordan 35s that you see here is these actually resemble to a T the Air Jordan 5. So this is pretty much, I mean, they're pretty much exactly the same. So I like that Nike, the Nike Air tab in the back as well right here that they put on the back of these. And of course the Jordan logo will be on the other side, this little yellow tab back here. But the last thing for the appearance on these, and really it's kind of barely noticeable, but if you look up close, there's some braille on the, ooh, I gotta get it there for you. There's some braille on the Eclipse plate for these shoes, and it's kind of cool because I actually found out what it means. They put braille all over shoes, but this actually reads 1990 to 2020, and that kind of signifies from the fifth model 30 years later up to now. So that's pretty cool, because there's always like some subtle braille engravings on like Jordans, and I've seen them like a bunch on Kobe's too, and I've like never known what they mean, but I found out on these, so I will take it. All right, so the last thing that we're going to touch on for this shoe is going to be like the materials and the comfort and just like kind of the overall traction for the Air Jordan 35. But first, the cool thing about this specific colorway right here is that this is the result of them using a tech pad to kind of map out the different materials that would be used on the shoe, that would cover all the different parts of the shoe. And they're kind of like color coordinated is how their tech system works. So that's kind of the product that came out of this. And whenever it got done, it looked pretty nice. So they just went ahead and decided to release it. So, but getting back to this black stripe that I talked about on the toe and on the side that I mentioned earlier, this actually does serve a purpose, like I said, and it serves as some like ventilation to allow airflow into the shoe. Because let's be honest, if you're playing basketball, you know, we all need that. And this material is made up of something called flight wire, and if it sounds pretty familiar, basically Jordan borrowed the fly wire scheme from Nike and just tweaked the design a little bit and started calling it flight wire instead. So that's this portion right here that you can see on the shoe. But unlike the Air Jordan 34s, which were like pretty much all Flyknit and mesh, these do feature some of that gray suede that I talked about that's on the front and on the back of the shoe. That was just them listening to feedback and reviews on the Air Jordan 34s, because like those had a lot. Well, they were pretty much entirely made out of that mesh and kind of like modern material. So this suede portion on here is just kind of an attempt to respond to the feedback that they were getting. So props to Jordan on that. And just to throw this in, but these do fit true to size, I would say. There's like some notches on the back on the inside of the shoe. It's kind of hard to show, but it makes it feel a little bit weird. But it also kind of locks your heel into place pretty well, but it could take some like getting used to. It did for me. So I can maybe see going a half size up with that extra padding in the back, but I wouldn't like necessarily recommend it. And the tongue is really flexible too to get the shoe in and out. So you won't have to like struggle getting these on at all. But these shoes also feature an internal lacing system for the shoe, and basically that's just going to help get a better grip around your foot for better stability, and for comfort purposes, they did even put more zoom air in the cushion. And this is what they had in the 34s. It's pretty much the same thing, but I didn't really get that cushiony sensation immediately. But I really think it was just because my mind was just so focused, like on the notches on the back of the shoe, like kind of touching my Achilles and stuff like that. I think it's just, so I didn't really get that response immediately, but I'm sure over time I'll start to feel that. But rest assured, the impact protection and all of that will still be there with this cushion, so it's no cause for concern or anything. And last, the traction on the shoe is second to none. They use a herringbone pattern, if you can kind of see that design, and that's used for superior traction. So these also have a little bit of a radial pattern on there going on, similar to the Air Jordan 34s and on the Air Jordan 12s. The only thing to be aware of for the traction is that it is a little bit thin. I can't really show that, but the traction is pretty thin, so it maybe wouldn't be the best shoes to be wearing outside to play ball, especially since it's kind of an elevated retail price of $180, but to each their own. All right, so that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and performance review for the Air Jordan 35 Center of Gravity. Thanks for taking some time to watch and just check us out. But be sure to also click the link in our bio, and from there you can find a bunch of things. Like you can go to our website and you can see all of our shoes that are available for sale. And you can also head over to our social media just to kind of stay informed with what we do, which is going to be mainly talking about upcoming sneaker releases. And feel free to leave a comment below on any other shoes that you may want us to check out and review for you guys. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoeware. Peace.